I'm making another album, and it's the start of the final day before my deadline. My deadline is tomorrow, when I have the last ever session with the Make an Album with Mike program first group. Got another group hot on their heels starting soon. So, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about, we're going to be brainstorming, thinking about how we're going to release the album and the various different opportunities there. So that's my final deadline. So today I think I've got time to do one full cycle through my album once again. So the question that I've been asking over the last couple of weeks, which is, if you only had 20 minutes to get this track ready for release, what would you do, is actually a true question this time, because I'm going to have, maybe half an hour maximum available for each piece of music. So that's going to be interesting. And really what I've been, as you get to the end, more and more of your focus ends up on smaller and smaller things, smaller details. So today I really wanted to talk about quality and sound quality and what it actually means. Because obviously on this album, apart from one album where I did record myself playing the bassoon and the saxophone occasionally, this is really the first time recording things with air in between, like the thing being recorded and the actual recording. So in other words, recording with mics and stuff like that. It's the first time for me, really, this has become something that's even I need to think about, because obviously I've always made music with synthesizers and plugins and stuff like that. Whereas this time I'm recording my voice into a microphone, and I'm recording my voice in what has to be one of the worst recording environments it's possible to have, which is a shed. So it's not quite as bad as it could be, because we have lined the walls. So there's the tin, and then there is some, what's it called? Insulation. There you go. So insulation, and then there's wood. So I've got wood on the walls. And then there's just this insulation, so my ceiling is like silver, so there's insulation on the ceiling. But it's basically a big tin box. So obviously this isn't ideal for recording vocals at all. I've got an a pretty good mic. What is it? It's I can't remember now. I'm looking at it now. An M80. So it's a half decent mic, and I'm just recording it straight into a UAD Apollo interface. But the problem is there's no sound damping. When the birds are singing outside, it's almost like, I can actually see there's light coming in through a gap in the ceiling and through the doors, because it's a shed. It's literally a shed. So it's not an ideal situation in terms of dampening the sound or stopping other sound from coming in. But this is just how I've been recording the vocals. And why would I do that? Why would I not sort out something better? The reason is that I feel that this actually makes the vocal recording sound like something. It sounds like the qualities of the audio recording are what they are because of where I am, and that is something that I want to be present. It's like and then I end up with a vocal recording that, according to a pristine, like a pristine vocal recording that you'd get in Abbey Road or something like that, it's nowhere near that. But that doesn't make it necessarily worse, because at the end of it, as a producer, as an artist, I have something to work with, and a piece of audio to work with, and I have to work with it in a certain way. because of what it is. I have to be creative about how I'm producing it and what I'm doing with it. And I can't do the same things that I would do if I had a pristine vocal recording recorded in amazing conditions on an incredible mic with, sound dampening and all that kind of stuff. Now, of course, if I had that studio available to me easily and I had the time to actually do that and I had the money to do that, then I would do it. But I don't. I have the time and my life means that I have the ability to record my vocal. It's much more important to me to be able to record multiple takes of a vocal whenever I get a minute than it is. Like that's more important to me than having a pristine quality recording. Because what's important is getting a better vocal take. If in my current situation, if I have to get the ultimate vocal takes of all of the tracks on my album in one day, because that's all I can afford, and I have to go and stay in, go to a city somewhere and go and stay there, and then I have to do it in just one day or like in a week, even though the vocal recording will, the actual vocal recording itself will be of higher quality, I can guarantee you the performance will not be as high a quality. And also I won't be able to change little bits of the lyrics last minute or change the words or decide that it's like there's so many benefits that come to me from accepting my situation here in this shed, in my, as I call it, studio, that are more important to me than the pristine vocal recording. Because it's like the upsides outweigh the downsides. Now, it might be idiotic of me not to have treated this room in any way. It might be, careless of me to have not done that. I'll take that on the chin. That's fine. But I haven't. I've just used what I have, and now with those recordings, with those vocals, I am treating them as the thing that I have, which means I'm doing certain things to work with them. Yeah. And I mean, apart from anything else, there's a lot that you can now do. So, I mean, if you were to listen to just the raw recordings without any processing on them, I mean, some of them, it's while it was raining on the roof, and you can hear the rain in the background, and most of them, it's very kind of hissy. You can even hear birds and stuff like that. There's all kinds of, but that actually for me, in a way, adds to it. It kind of adds a quality to it. It sounds a certain way. And I made sure to do this. I have recorded them all on exactly the same mic, standing in the same place, at the same distance from the mic, with the same setup, going through the same soft preamp, UAD preamp and all that. That's all exactly the same. So they all sound, I mean, obviously my voice changes because I've recorded them over many months, but they all sound, the recordings do have the same level of crapness, if you like. Okay. So they have a sound to them, which is identifiable. And this is something that I think is important for you to understand and think about yourself. The actual quality of the vocal recording is less important than the qualities of the vocal recording or of any recording. Because once you get that piece of audio, it is now a thing that you can use you can use creatively to create something, and it will be different than if you'd have recorded it at Abbey Road, but it won't be necessarily worse. I'm not a brilliant singer. I mean, another example, I'm heavily processing my vocals, and I'm using auto-tune and now Melodyne as well, not to actually try and make it sound natural. That's not why I'm using why I'm using auto-tune and Melodyne. I'm specifically using them to make them sound unnatural, to make them sound just different, like to make them sound like unique. I mean, maybe it isn't completely unique because auto-tune's a very well-known sound, but what I mean is the qualities of the vocal recording and how I've processed them and what I'm doing with them is specifically intended to sound processed. I'm not looking for, at this point anyway, I'm not looking for a true representation of my voice. I'm thinking of it more as a kind of sound design thing, like an instrument. Why? Well, number one, because of what I said about the bad quality of the vocal recording gives me a recording with certain qualities which actually really work well with this high level of, this type of processing. Creates weird kind of situations. This is one track I was working on yesterday called Unsettling, and it's about not being sure. And it's all about, it's unsettling without you here, you being certainty. Okay. And so it's meant to sound weird and kind of otherworldly and a bit shaky. So I've put it through it's going through Melodyne and then into auto-tune in order to create this kind of very weird wobbly thing. And that on top of the quality of the actual recording itself is sort of creating this sort of very unusual sounding thing, which is the point of the track. In some of the other tracks, they're more open and more, it's just like me and a piano. But even then, I'm heavily processing the piano and the vocal to create. It's almost like I'm using the thing that I have to inform what I do. And the thing that I have isn't necessarily worse. And when you think of it like that, it's not necessarily worse. And this is why I think it's important that you don't use not having the right studio, not having the right gear, not having the right setup, not having enough time, not having this, not having that, not having the other, not having the stars align, not having it be Thursday, not having, whatever it is, not having eaten, whatever, all of these things to stop us from creating. Because when you take the approach that this is what I have and I'm going to work with it, not against it, what you end up finding is that there is unlimited opportunity to express yourself. There's unlimited opportunity to create something of value for other people. And there's unlimited opportunity for you to be creative, improve, and make the quality of music that you didn't realize you could.